I'm the Hooded Lid, and welcome to my channel, Holy Eyeshadow Palettes Batman. I don't think you ever said that, but I'm going to say it now. Just like we were just struck with a plethora of foundations, we are soon to be struck with a tsunami of eyeshadow palettes, and I'm here for it. If you've followed me for any length of time, or just seen a couple of videos, you know that I've kind of been bored with eyeshadow palettes and feel like I'm doing the same thing over and over again, but nothing has really struck my fancy. The last palette I bought and kept was the Huda Nude. I bought the Natasha Denona Sunrise, but I felt that it was really flawed. It had too many of those maroon colors and too many yellows, and it just missed a couple of colors that are in beautiful sunrises and would have given me more variety and ability to put together a couple of more looks. I found with my Huda Coral palette and my Too Faced Peach Mattes palette, I could put together similar looks, so I returned it. And then I recently got the Viseart palette, which is yellow and blue. I think it was the Soleil, and a yellow and purple. And I put together a beautiful look with that, but I could only do one look. I tried the other colors, the watermelon, like spiced watermelon colors, but there was no matte, so it was like a shimmer and a glitter. Well, maybe not a glitter, duochrome, and it just wowed me. And then the golds, there were two golds, which who among us doesn't have golds already? So I decided I already have a violet color kind of similar to that. In fact, this Huda palette had something similar, and the yellows, I already have yellows in singles, so I brought that one back too. So I am sitting here with a list. I happened to go on Trend Moods, and the colors have been decided. Everybody's doing kind of the same thing, but it's different. We're no longer doing those orange palettes, the warm palettes, which I'm over. I've had it. You only need one, and that's it. And they're not doing the mauves and taupes so much, although these run more to the taupe end, and I just am going to run a couple things by you. I'm using the iMovie that comes with my Mac, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to do a little side picture here of what I'm talking about. I think I'm going to have to take a picture with my camera phone and then load it. I'm not sure how I'm going to do this, but I'm going to figure something out. So here we go. And you will see there's a theme going in here, and it's kind of like coolish colors to khaki to honey. And we're going to start with honey. Urban Decay has a new large palette. It's called Honey. And it's been a long time since Urban Decay's done something that I thought maybe I'm going to do it, and this might do it. I have to take a closer look at all of these, but it has a nice arrangement. You can get two solid looks out of this from what I can tell. So unlike the Heat palette, it's not like you can only get one look, but just in deeper graduating tones. Not graduating. You know what I'm talking about. But actually different color looks. And maybe more. That was just on first look. Juvia's Place has a palette called Nomad, which is kind of in the same area. What I love about this is there's only two that aren't mattes. I don't know if they're glitters. Here comes the helicopter. It's very hot here, so we have the fire department helicopters just circling around all the time to make sure we're not catching fire. I don't personally think they need to be this low because you can see smoke from a distance, but whatever. So the Juvia's Place looks kind of interesting. Again, I'm going to be really picky and go through each color and say, do I have a color like this already? Because what these palettes might be doing is just giving me an idea of how to use the palettes I already own. I'm going to have to wait for this guy. This is not necessary. Unless he's just going to hover here forever. Okay, I'm going to go ahead. Natasha Denona did what I wanted her to do. But she didn't do it in the way I wanted her to do it. She's doing a mini gold. I love that gold palette. I just can't see spending that kind of money on a palette that really you can get two looks out of. An old gold look or a gold and blue look. Her execution is a little different. She's not bringing the blues. In fact, there's 4 new colors and only 1 color from that palette, and I suspect it's one of the gold colors. And she's going to the khaki and brownish green family. And you know what? I'm here for it. I love her shadows. So I'm probably just going to get that one. I'm not even going to test it out. I can't remember the name of this. BHC. This is a drugstore brand, and I can't remember what it stands for. I've never bought their products before, but I thought I'd mentioned it. Oh, what does it stand for? I just put the initials. They have something called Golden Twilight. This is something you can get at Rite Aid, and it's kind of the same color family. Something to consider. Viseart has a new palette out worth mentioning, but when I take a closer look, the first row, all colors I have. It's those warm colors I'm over. The second row are coolers, but there's a navy. I have navy. There's that violet that I really love. And then there's kind of like a muted plum, which I already have something like that. And the last row is all shimmers. So for me, no. And interestingly enough, Viseart's not using the same palette that everybody else, the color palette that everybody else is doing. It's just not for me, but it might be for you if you also are dying for something new. Pat McGrath Labs has 2 new palettes. She has Midnight Sun, which it looks beautiful. It really, really does. I have a Pat McGrath palette. It's the one with the green in it, and I never use it. I honestly bought it because that green was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen, and I just had to have it. But I tried to put together a couple of looks, and you know, the eye looks that she does, they're hard for me. When you're hooded, you just can't do all that much with shimmers, and she only had a couple of mattes in there, and I don't regret owning it, but it's kind of like owning a beautiful piece of jewelry that you never wear because it's inappropriate for your life. That's kind of what her palettes are. The Midnight Sun looks beautiful online. I'll certainly take a look in stores, but I think it might be like a beautiful piece of jewelry. It's just not appropriate for my life. However, she also has new mini palettes. These were initially available on the Sephora app, but it looks to me, I was just on their website, and it looks to me that it's going there. One of them is kind of neutral, I don't care, but the other one is called the Subversive palette, and I think it's about 5 shades. It seems to have the green in the palette that I have, but it also seems to have that blue. She had one of the larger palettes with the blue color, and then she did a smaller palette with, I think, 6 that I bought and returned, because the other colors in that palette, while they were beautiful mattes, they weren't things that were great on me. I just felt like it's a one-look palette, and the look that I put together wasn't knocking my socks off. But this seems to have that blue in it, which is beautiful. Seems to have the green in it, which I love, and a couple of other colors that, you know, I could live with, and I'm definitely going to take a look at that. ColourPop has something called Truly, Madly, Deeply. I've seen 2 pictures of this. One of them I thought, these may be colors I already have. The other one I thought, oh, maybe not. Now, these are the colors I'm naturally kind of attracted to, those interesting pinks that might be a little peachy, might be a little hazy, might be a little antique-y looking. And because I know I have a propensity for these shadows, I'm not sure I'm going to go there, but I'm certainly going to look at it and give it a chance. MAC has a palette coming up. They have something Max X Pony. Apparently he is an Asian makeup artist. I don't actually know if it's a he or a she, but that palette is really interesting to me. It might again be like the ColourPop where these are shades I already have, but I definitely want to take a look at that. And if you don't have those kind of neutral shades that are warm pinkish, like blush pinkish, they're not warm orange, and you think that might be flattering for your skin tone, it's one to take a look at. I think MAC shadows are, are very nice. It's a great brand, and being in a palette, it'll travel easy. It'll give you a couple of different looks. I think it's something I'm going to look at. It might be something you should look at. Who knows? And finally, Too Faced has a couple of new palettes. I think one of them's already out. Palm Springs Dream, one of them, deserves a look. Initially I was thinking maybe not. And another gingerbread palette. It's another one I have to see in person to determine if they're colors that will really work for me and if they're not colors I already have. That's going to be my mandate these days. I can't just look at a palette and go, ooh, pretty colors, me want, and then I get home and like, I don't know what to do with this, or I can only get one look out of this. So I'm going to remain diligent and disciplined about what I'm purchasing, but there are a lot to choose from. Investigation is needed for all of them, but I just had to come up and say, hey, there's some palettes here. I am excited. I can say to you, most of these I think would be appropriate for hooded lids if they're like mine and you feel that shimmers are just a little too difficult. So you want a ratio that is a little more matte than shimmers. I think these will probably work. I mean, with the obvious caveats of the Pat McGrath, no. All right, just a quickie to let you know what's coming up. I'm super, super excited for the coming months, and yeah, it's gonna be fun. Thanks for coming. I hope it was informative, and I hope you come again. Until then, I'm wishing you a great day.